Hi, and welcome to the Hotel California. So, forgive the cheesy entrance, but if it's not obvious already, today's video, as I alluded to last time actually, is a review of the mobile Fidelity One-Step Ultradisc pressing of the Eagles Hotel California. So, this is the latest. I think this is the third or fourth of the Eagles titles to come out on the One-Steps. I think probably this one may be the long run, and then that'll be me done for those. I don't need the whole lot. But Hotel California undoubtedly is the most anticipated for me of the Eagles albums to come out in this format. And it's long been a favourite album. I would say particularly a favourite track, but it isn't just the title track. Life in the Fast Lane again. This is my original copy from, this is a 1976 copy. Its matrix numbers are, this is my reference, and that's why I think it's relevant to sort of talk about it a little. K53051.A1 on side 1, and side 2 is, there we are, B6. So it's an early copy. It's in excellent condition. I've had this not since 1976. I would have bought it about early 80s. And I wanted to play this before listening to the Mofi, just to sort of set the scene. I hadn't played it for a few years, probably, to be honest. A good, maybe a year or two anyway. So I put it on, and to be honest, it was a really pleasant and welcome kind of comfy kind of homecoming kind of experience. And I think the reason for that is that obviously the Eagles were just enormous throughout the 70s, in the mid-90s, they sort of did they kind of reformed and did a live concert, which they released as an album called Hell Freezes Over. Obviously, Hell Freezes Over alluding to the, comments made when they split up of whether they'd ever reform, and when Hell Freezes Over kind of thing. Similar to, I'm sure, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and so many other bands. It ain't going to happen. But it did happen in their case, and they made an album, and it was a fantastic album, Hell Freezes Over. But in the hi-fi industry, if you were, like I was, working in the hi-fi industry in the 90s, and went to a hi-fi show, you will have heard Hell Freezes Over absolutely everywhere. And it just sounded, it was fantastic sound quality, but it was kind of its 1990s, quite bright, quite sort of brittle sounding. The opening of Hotel California, you've got the sort of the bass, the main sort of bass, starts off and lays down the foundation, if you like, and then you've got this sort of very, very sparkly guitars. I don't know if there's at least 2, probably 3 guitars sort of over the top, and it's kind of, it's coming at you left and right and centrally. When you put this on, after, maybe 20 years since you probably last played Hell Freezes Over, certainly 10, it's such a welcome change, because it is so sort of analog, it's warm, it's smooth, it's there's a lot of colour in the guitar. It's not very clear. It's not what I'd say a crystal clear kind of audiophile type pressing or sound quality, but it's warm, it's colourful, it's emotive of that, just the beautiful sort of of the moment, really. It's lovely. And then one thing I will say, you've got, with the beginning of Hotel California, obviously you've got sort of, the bass, and then you've got the guitars, the sort of, as I say, there's at least one sort of quite centrally, but sort of, it's quite a big diffuse image. And then there's at least a second one, kind of predominantly on the left channel as you're listening. And I think possibly there's a third one, but I'm not entirely certain about that at this point. And then you've got some sort of cymbal stuff going on, and then there's this sort of like two drum beats, boom, boom, and then it picks up the rhythm a little bit, and then in the right channel there's a very distinct rhythm guitar, sort of click, click, sort of knocking out time, and that for me kind of drives the track, and along with the bass and the drums, obviously, in terms of the rhythm. And it's just really nice, and it was really pleasant, and it was refreshing to hear it after hearing the version on Hell Freezes Over so many times, so many years ago. And obviously the rest of the album, Life in the Fast Lane, obviously again is another favourite, like I said, and it just thunders along with like just such a power and a groove. Anyway, then we get to put the Mofi on, and I won't bother going through in great detail here, but I'll just very quickly show what you get in the Mofi. For those who don't know, it's a one-step pressing, which means they cut out the father and mother of the stampers, molds, stages, which is definitely inevitably going to improve quality, but they do take them from a DSD copy of the master, which is a little bit controversial because they weren't open about that at the start. They are now, but only because they got outed, basically. But here's a replica of the cover, which is not as nice as here's the original. If you can see those side by side, I mean, it's washed out. It's just not very pleasing at all, really. It's not as good. I wish that Mofi would reconsider how they package these, frankly. You get, hang on, you get a poster here. Now, I haven't got this with my original, but I've got a very strong feeling I would have had it with it would have come with this, because I have had this poster before now, a long time ago. More than likely, it went on my wall when I was a student, and subsequently got torn up and thrown away. But yeah, cool little addition, cool little poster. And hang on, let's just go through the rest of this. This is just a single sheet, but in the original, this is the inner sleeve. Okay. And then this is a technical sheet. And then the two LPs, because it's 45 RPM, come in these matte black covers. I'll just show you how they're packaged. You've got a really nice card stiffener inside there, and then a really nice archival sleeve. And the LPs they're printed on this super vinyl, pressed on this super vinyl, which is remarkably quiet. And I will say on this particular copy, they're as flat as a pancake. An awful lot of my Mofis are not. They're slightly warped. And, when you're paying premium money for these things, in the UK here, these are, I don't know, they're I can't remember the exact price, but between 150 and 200 pounds, let's put it like that. They're not cheap, and I would expect perfection for that, frankly, not warped. Anyway, if I pop all this away, and let's get back to the sound. So it really is quite an interesting one with this album, because putting the original on, like I said, was actually, it was kind of like a warm, fuzzy kind of moment. You know, it really, really was. It's quite opaque. It's not a superbly clear recording, but it's natural. It's sort of organic. It's very analog sounding. There's a nice tonal colour to the whole thing, and the groove just sort of thunders along. Now, when I first put on this, the first impressions you get are, you get that the bass notes kind of come in, and they are deeper. There's more texture, there's more shape, and there's more power. And you know, it's quite simply they're better. And the background noise level, the vinyl noise floor is so much lower. There's no question it's better. But then the sort of the first guitar, second stroke third guitar, as I say, I'm not sure it's 2 or 3 at that point, but they kind of come in, and they really are. You've got this sort of very quite bright and sort of transparent sort of thing going on. The first one, or two, you know, sort of in the middle, hanging there, a bit sort of spacey, if you like. You know, the definite sort of second guitar is in the left-hand channel. Works well. Sorry, everything's falling out of here a minute. Let me just hold that up without the inners. It's all very, very, very crystalline and open and airy, much, 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 much more so than the original. And in every kind of hi-fi way you look at it sounds better. It really, really, really does. Now, just personally, that first sort of impression was, I'm not, you know, it just reminded me a bit of the Hell Freezes Over thing, which is, of course, a more modern recording. It's brighter. It's, you know, it's 20 years more modern than this, really, about that anyway. And then you've got that point where, as I said, it's like you've got this boom, boom, and then kind of little guitar in the right-hand channel really kind of kicks in with the rhythm, which is the main sort of area of prominence, I think, that follows those two drum beats on the original. On the Mofi, the bass is bigger and stronger and more powerful. The drums are bigger and stronger and more powerful. The guitars are kind of more separate and airy. That rhythm guitar is kind of, I think there's more shape, there's more resolution, there's more detail there. But it's kind of, whereas you had sort of maybe 3 quite thick, prominent sort of boom, boom, kind of, you know, type of elements, you kind of exchange that for maybe 10 the kind of lighter and a little bit more agile and a little bit more shape, and but on initial impression, I really stress this, the initial impression is like, I haven't quite got the strength of the groove, and I'll be absolutely honest, in terms of a hi-fi context, there's absolutely no question from the moment you put the needle in the groove that this is superior, and by a long way. From a musical perspective, it really kind of had me on the hop. And I would say after maybe 2 complete listens, I was actually thinking, this is just a bit hi-fi and a bit, you know, overly clear. And I was sort of wondering if they've done something in the digital domain, and whether they, you know, the DSD encoding and decoding has sort of, you know, done something that, you know, that's spoiled it for me. And I really, you know, at that point in time, I would have, if asked to choose between them, I would have sold this one and kept my original at that point in time. And then I reckon it was probably on about day 3 or 4 since this turned up when I first listened to it. And I was demonstrating this to someone, and I put it on, and I didn't actually even bother doing an A/B dem. I just said I put this on, and I put it on the start of Hotel California, expecting to hear what I kind of had in my head, in the anticipation, if you like, of the hell freezes over sort of, not, say it's not nastiness. It was a sound I got sick of, yeah. And I put it on, and I just thought, no, it is just way more transparent. It's way more, higher resolution, clearer, more airy, and the groove is on time. They're playing together in time. It's it's just more complex and more shape to it, and then I played through the first couple of tracks, turned it over because it's obviously a double album, put a Life in the Fast Lane, and on the first listen, and maybe the second listen to this, it just didn't have that absolute thundering urgency of the original. You know the song. It's like phenomenal, really, because it's what the song's about. But just imagine yourself on just on a motorbike or whatever, and you start it up or put it in gear and just thundering down the road. And this is again, it's that same thing of, instead of just a lumpy, like a heavyweight boxing glove smacking out the boom, boom, boom. It's like being, you're with a featherweight who's just knocking 7 bells of shit out of you, if you know what I mean. It is superb, and I mean it is different tonally. The timbral quality is different, and it sounds different. And because we know it's got that digital step in it, it is easy to sort of, oh, it sounds wrong, I don't know, But honestly, if you've got a really open mind and you give it 2 or 3 listens, there's no question. And they're not, it's not a close thing. It's not a close thing in terms of like, they sound similar. You've got to have a high-end system and golden ears and be sat right in the listening seat to notice the difference. You'd notice the difference if you had these on a £200 turntable and it was playing in the next room. You'd hear the difference between them quite clearly. This is it's an astonishing pressing. It's superb. It's really great. I think in terms of the double 45 kind of thing, which is, we've discussed this over and over, I find it a bit of a pain in the butt. It's, it doesn't dampen my enthusiasm to play this. You put on side 1, side 2, and they're over before you've noticed, really. We've got Hotel California, New Kid in Town, Life in the Fast Lane, and Wasted Time. I mean, that's the whole of the first album. I'll just add, actually, album 2. The opening, the Wasted Time reprise, is the sort of the classical little piece. It's just, it's stunning, like stunningly open 3D kind of orchestral sort of. It's just beautiful. I mean, the whole thing is a definite success. It really is. I have no regret in getting this one. Some of the Mofi One-Steps I've got have sort of, they're really impressive, but I'm not sure how often I will play them in an ongoing context. Ironically, some of the best. I think the one that really kind of absolutely blew me away more than any was the Mingus Arm, but I've subsequently got the Hemiolia tape and probably will never play them Mofi again. So, I might actually put that up on eBay. I think I probably will have a bit of a clear out soon. But anyway, that's that's my summing up of this, the Mobile Fidelity one-step pressing of Hotel California. Really, really, really good. Way more resolution than the UK original. I haven't got any other versions to compare it to, but if this is what you've got, which, you know, I think is probably 99% of the people in the UK, this will be how they know it. This will blow your socks off. This absolutely will blow your socks off. And if you kind of got into the Eagles in the 90s through Hell Freezes Over, if you're that kind of generation, and you found going back to the earlier Eagles albums a bit sort of underwhelming and a bit sort of stodgy, again, I think this will really delight you. So I'd like to thank David Brooke of the Vinyl Adventure, who sent me this copy, and I'll put a link to his shop down below. And thank you all once again very, very, very much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Thanks for now. Bye now. Bye.